So following on from my look at the Eaglemoss Orville, I'm going to have a look now at the biggest purchase I made whilst the discount was available, and that was an XL size Klingon bird of prey. And I wasn't entirely sure immediately, but actually on the front cover here of the booklet that comes with it, it's a Burrell class Klingon bird of prey. Now, if you're familiar with the bird of prey as a starship at all, you might be aware that there are two birds of prey that we see in the series very frequently, and the first ship that we saw of this class was in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, and that was a relatively small sort of scout ship class, and that was this one, the Burrell class. It's 139 meters lengthwise apparently, and it's a bit naughty showing it with its wings down on this front cover because it is variable geometry in the movies, but as I understand it, when I get this out of the box, the wings aren't going to move. They're going to be locked in the horizontal position, so we'll see about that. But there is another class of bird of prey called the Cavort class, and that we see far more of in the Next Generation and later series, and that's more a sort of a small cruiser type class of vessel, which was considered generally quite expendable by the Klingons, but was very fast and it could cloak, and it was broadly speakable quite capable. I think it was the class of ship that took out the Enterprise in Star Trek Generations, the one that got lucky and managed to get through their shields, but I think that was a Cavort class. So, I could be wrong, and feel free to correct me in the comments if I am, because I don't think we ever saw it landed, so I'm not actually sure about the size, but it rather confused me, despite them being, because they basically blew up the model, not literally, well actually we did do it literally as well, but I shall move on. The cockpit, the bridge on both ships looks the same. That always confused the hell out of me. So although one ship's supposed to be much bigger, the bridge module seems to be more or less the same on both. So it's really hard to tell the difference just from the bridge as to which ones you're actually sat in. So, without further ado, I've got a slight issue with this magazine that's come with it. It's fine as far as it goes, but on these pages, you see these little, I don't know if you can make it out on the camera, there are the little white marks here. It's strange, it's almost as if it was glued together at some point. You can see them, they're quite noticeable here. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick them up at sort of your resolution, but it's a nice enough booklet, but that just sort of spoils it for me. When I opened it, it felt like the pages were stuck together a little bit, which is a bit of a shame. But this is basically it's a sort of recap of what they're aiming for in Star Trek 3 and some of the design sketches and so on. And of course we see this one in Star Trek 4 as well, because it's Kirk and crew's ride home at the end of the day. So, here's the box. Let me just come out a little bit so you can see what's going on there. So, I'm hoping this is going to be a nice green. I used to have an Ertl bird of prey that was a really small die-cast model, but I loved that model and it held together really well, but it was like a sort of pale sort of blue colour, and I much preferred that over the one that they brought out for Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier, because that one was a really sort of neon green, which I didn't feel was accurate at all. Okay, so nice bit of sort of polystyrene packing here to keep it safe. Oh, okay. Now it's a really nice size. There's quite a lot of polystyrene beading around here. Is the only downside to how it's been packed. So let's take the stand out. So if you remember from the Orville model I showed you previously, this is a very similar principle. It's just a slightly larger perspex holder for the bird of prey's wings there, and again very similar base model, so very helpfully Klingon bird of prey. And in fact I don't think this is any difference to the base that's used for the smaller models that come with the magazines, which I found quite interesting. So I've actually got the Orville here for comparison. And then that's the Orville stand, and that's the much larger Bird of Prey stand. So that's going to be an interesting factor in terms of stability and so on. So let's get this out. Now that's nice. Immediately, those are metal wings. That's really nice. That actually reminds me a lot of my Ertl, actually, on a rather different scale. Ooh, classic staticky polystyrene beads everywhere. That's not so brilliant. I won't fiddle with these too much now. I'll just try and blow these off. Okay, that probably wasn't very professional. I'm sure there are better ways to do that. I still haven't got all of them out. I'll pick those out later with some tweezers perhaps. So let's have a look at this. This is plastic neck and bridge module there, but from sort of here on it's all very nicely green. You can see the detailing there on the sort of the the feathery sort of effect that you get on Bird of Prey, and a nice sort of sheen to it as well. I'm hoping the lighting's all right for this. Disruptor cannons on the wings, obviously. Torpedo launcher at the front there. I think it only has the single torpedo launcher, particularly because it's Burrell class. I always like the engines on them as well, actually. I remember when they do the time warp for Star Trek 4, there's a nice sort of orange glow that streamed out of the back. I always thought that was quite a nice effect in the film. But as I suspected, you see, these wings do not shift. They are well and truly, I think, embedded where they are, so I'm not even going to try and mess with those. Nice weathering effect detail on the belly there, and also nice coloration difference here as well. So you can see it's there's a nice sort of bronzy colour to it on the bottom, which is also really nice. So I was really looking forward to getting this because I haven't had anything like this for many a long year, and I've never had one this big. I was always rubbish with putting plastic kits together. I once had an Aliens drop ship, and yeah, I mean, I made it. It kind of stuck together, but I always end up using about 3,000 tons of glue on these things, so they never come out quite as you'd hope them to. So getting ones like this that are pre-made is terrific, because it means that my modelling inadequacies are nicely irrelevant. So yeah, so it's a good weight. That feels really solid, which is kind of what you'd hope for a Klingon ship, really, isn't it? Let's face it, because they shouldn't really be wimpy ships. Let me try and put this on the stand, and we'll see how that goes. Now I know it's supposed to go on the back here. Try to see if that's actually symmetrical or not. I'm not sure that it is. Okay, so I think like that. So you can see it's holding quite nicely on either side of the engines there, the impulse engines. And let's have a look at it on the stand. This one I would imagine is, yeah, the position of the hole is different on this stand. It's right towards the back, so that the Bird of Prey can go over the bulk of the stand. Let's move the box out of the way now. And there we should have a Klingon Burrell class Bird of Prey. Very nice. Very nice. I'm very pleased with that. And let me just get the Orville to show you as a size comparison. So as I understand it, the XL models are, they're significantly more expensive, which is understandable because they are much bigger and they're also all hand painted and so on. But this is really impressive. And I'm just going to put the Orville down here for comparison purposes. So that's the Orville that I showed you in my last unboxing video there. So you can see that it's a significant difference in overall size. And obviously the Bird of Prey has big wings anyway, so it is always going to be a bigger model. But it is really nice. And given that I got a discount on it as well, I think that's more than fair enough, really. So yeah, I have no issues with that at all, apart from the slight issue with the booklet that came with it. I think that's really good value for money. I think it's a lovely display piece. I can't fault the the paintwork and so on. The weathering's there and it's nice. They haven't just sort of blasted it with a single solid colour, which is great. Yeah, lovely. So very happy with my purchases from them. They arrived quickly. They were well packaged, all of them, in terms of the outer packaging in the box as well. And I have noticed that they are doing quite a few flash sales and so on. I have got a code somewhere, I think, that allows me to get a discount, but I'm not too fussed about that, so I won't try and fish that out for you. But yeah, so have a look. They do other things as well. There are Marvel series, and there's Doctor Who's, Battlestar Galactica on there, so it's worth having a look at the site. If this is your sort of cup of tea with Christmas coming up, it's always a thought. So anyway, there you go. YouTube were complaining that I didn't have much original content on my channel, so this is my second attempt at slightly more original content, and now I'd better clean up all the little white bits that are floating around the kitchen. Thanks very much for watching. See you again. Bye.